all my YouTube people. Me and Joe coming at you here. Like I said, I'm trying to put out a little bit more content, and I had an interesting thought for a couple of videos that might break things up on my channel a little bit. So, this is going to be, excuse me, this is going to be 7 things that bother me about Texans. Now, just before I start into this, I want to make it clear that I was born in Texas, I was raised in Texas, and aside from the few years that I lived in China, I have lived somewhere in Texas all my life. So I am not talking out of my ass here. You know, you wouldn't have to live in this state very long to observe many of these things. All right. So, and this might be the number one thing. The number one thing that annoys me about Texans is pickup trucks. That just people in this state are obsessed with pickup trucks. They are a mostly unneeded vehicle. You know, most of the people that own a pickup truck in Texas are just going to work and getting groceries, okay? They don't really need it. But in this state, pickup trucks are viewed as some type of status symbol. It's almost like having a Porsche in like California or a Lambo in Florida. You know, you need to have like, you should really have a Ford. It should really be like an F-150 or something like that. Although the Ram has gotten pretty popular. And I mean, it's a problem. Like, these people feel like they deserve to get somewhere just as much as everybody else. So here in DFW, you have a bunch of really heavy, really big pickup trucks going like 120 down the freeway. It's silly. It's like the Texas Porsche. Okay, number 2. Most Texans who seem to feel they are nice people are some of the biggest assholes. There are a lot of really nice assholes in Texas, and I will elaborate on that further here because a lot of these other points have to sort of do with that. But I've never had more people like who seem to be insulting me right to my face who seem to feel they aren't doing that. Or seem to feel like they just are allowed to do that because they're who they are, or something like that. I don't quite have a reason. Why people are like this. Maybe some of you other people who subscribe to my channel and are Texans and notice these things as well can kind of help me out here. But I've just never met any other group of people who feel like they can talk to me however they want and don't feel like it's negative for them to do that in any way. Alright. Number 3. The people in this state are very politically closed-minded. Granted, a lot of other people have moved here over the last couple decades, and that has made the state a lot more pink than red. But, you know, most people here are going to vote red. They're going to vote right, and they are going to give anybody who either isn't going to vote or is going to vote the other way, or even for maybe one of the third-party candidates, a really hard time. Okay? The fact that most of those people are going to vote for a convicted felon, it's like it doesn't even register or even matter to them. They just are not able to see a broader picture, okay? Maybe it's because most of them don't care if they'll be forced to go to church on Sunday or whatever. Or, you know, don't care if they'll be forced to, you know, get married or whatever. But I've never met a more politically closed-minded group of people than most Texans, and a lot of people who end up moving here get this way as well. You know, a lot of transplants to the state who just, are, I mean, just people here, it's just like, you're going to vote Republican, and if you're not, that's weird. That's weird. It's weird. The crazy thing is, I actually grew up in the Rio Grande Valley, and typically the Rio Grande Valley is a very Democratic area. They tend to vote blue down there a lot. Of course, it doesn't matter because of the way, the system works. Basically, Texas is just going to be a red state no matter what. But despite having grown up in a very Democratic area, I would say the DFW area is not. This is a pretty conservative place up here. Number 4. This is a very live to work kind of state. Like, everybody in this state is about their fucking job, They're not about anything else until, like, they're able to take that, precious week of vacation that they're allowed a year or whatever, and do something else there. But I know a lot of people who are on vacation and can't wait to get back to work. I've never been a very live to work kind of guy, and that's really something you should kind of keep to yourself in this state, because the second you start making it seem like you're not all about your job and you actually have a life outside of work and other interests and stuff like that, people are going to start saying, you don't appreciate your job. You don't appreciate your job. I don't appreciate making a really low wage and having, no work to life balance. No. I like making money, but I would like to be in a little more control of how I do that. That just isn't how, in my experience, Texas works, especially the DFW area. I did the call center thing in the Valley a lot, and that has a very poor work-to-life balance. I worked for Dish Network for about 4 years, and they actually had mandatory 6th days. At first, it was like you got to choose when you did the extra 4 hours a week, but I guess that was just too convenient for everybody, and then they started scheduling you for when you would do the 4 hours, and you would do that 4 hours on one of your days off, and it would always be in the prime real estate of the day. Like, the last 4 hours in that day you would want to work, that's when you'd be working. And you would be on a different split when you came in. If you were normally tech, you'd come in for that 4 hours and do sales. If you were normally sales, you'd come in for that 4 hours and do tech. I don't know what their rationale or thinking was there, because, we were techs. We weren't the best sales agents, and they were sales agents. They weren't the best techs. Maybe they were trying to kind of cross-train us or something, but if they wanted to actually sell some Dish Network systems, the thing to do would have been to, like, maintain everything. I would often go and just say, I've got enough PTO or whatever to get out of doing this today, so if you want me to stay and do this 4 hours, you need to put me back on tech. And I'd get put back on tech usually. And sometimes, you could tell that they were sort of monitoring how many sales we would get, and they would basically, like, if we just weren't doing well enough, they would just put us back over on tech. But yeah, just the entire state is really very, live to work, and you've got to be all about your job. And if you're not, that's weird. That's weird, man. It's weird. I don't know if I like you because you're weird. It's like how my in-laws, you're weird, Doug. You're weird. Number 5, the area is very religiously bigoted. If you're not into Jesus and God, people basically think you deserve to die. Like, they'll literally quit doing anything with you and probably start talking to you less. I can't tell you how many Jesus lives or Jesus saves signs are just in somebody's front lawn, That's not such a thing in the Valley. Even though it's a very religious area, people tend to keep their religious beliefs to themselves down there, unless they're asked about it. But up here, that's not the case. I mean, I have been rolling through Arlington, downtown Arlington, here on Division, and like there are literally like billboards for businesses. Like, say, there used to be this place that was like a transmission shop, and it gave a transmission deal, and then Jesus Lives right under it. It's like, really? You know? Are you gonna, you know, give me some like discount if I'm a Christian or something? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I don't get why they have to be so broadcasty about it, you know? I think people can believe in whatever they want to believe, but you know, just keep it to your freaking self. I mean, I'm not really interested in your religious beliefs, you know? And I'm not really interested in how you feel about mine. I have reason to believe in what I believe in, and I think everybody probably does. Number 6. If you're poor, you're worthless, and it's your fault you're poor. From most people's point of view that at least make, you know, in the high 5 figures a year, Texas's economy is great, you know? This is one of those states where most people believe that, like, if you're destitute and you're not getting by, that's on you. You know, you can't get a job because that's on you, you know? You know, yeah, billionaires should be allowed, and that's all great because they earn their money. They didn't, you know. There's just this idea that if you're worth something, that if you can't exist like a normal person, you're not worth anything in a lot of Texans' eyes. And I have relatives who feel this way, which is kind of worrying because it's like, do you really feel that way about me? You know? But it's literally from their point of view, there's nothing ever wrong with the economy. The economy's always great. Everything's always good. You know? It's an issue. So number 7. A lot of the people here aren't particularly friendly to those who live outside the box or are unconventional or don't march to the beat of their drummer. That's weird, because it's weird. That's weird, that's strange, different. Not sure I like you. Not sure I like you. You're weird. You're different. You know, if you think that houses shouldn't cost $150,000 and it shouldn't be the same 5 house plans replicated over and over again, that's weird. You're weird, man. I don't know if I like you. You know, if you're gonna try and buy one of those arch cabins and get yourself a house together for like $35,000, you're weird. You're weird. You should just work harder. You should just work harder and save up for a normal house. You know what I mean? If you'd rather drive a motorcycle around because, you know, it's cheaper to pay off than a car, you're weird. You're weird, that's dangerous. You're weird. Not sure I like you. You know, again, the subscribers to my channel who are also Texans can probably verify a lot of this. And again, if you're Valley people, you're probably noticing this a lot less because the Valley's just a much cooler place than other parts of Texas, I guess. So that is 7 issues I have with other Texans. Thanks for staying to the end. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow and put out more content. And you know, all you guys have a good day. It's goemonronin signing off.